What have I been telling you guys? The developments are definitely coming in fast, and this latest one, it's sending the whole Democratic Party on edge. So first, there's former President Barack Obama together with former First Lady Michelle Obama endorsing Kamala Harris over the phone. But see if you can pick up any of the tension and the awkwardness in this whole thing. Take a listen.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me. I'm looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that definitely felt awkward to me. And you notice how Obama said that we'll get you through this election like they've just given up and they want to get this thing over with. But really, the bigger news I have for you guys may explain this chill between the Obamas and the Democratic presumptive nominee Kamala Harris. Because it turns out there's buzz swirling around the Biden camp that the president's pretty quick endorsement of Kamala Harris was his revenge on prominent party leaders, including Barack Obama, who pressured him to bow out of the race against his will. In the words of the Biden source, it was Joe's big FU. Joe said, if I'm out, then I'm endorsing her. I mean, you got to admire Biden for that at least, right? He definitely didn't go down without leaving a mark.
You consider that bad performance. You consider the assassination attempt of President Trump, the unbelievable convention that the Republicans had, and then just in the last several hours, the exit of President Biden. Whatever we want to call it, whatever the reasons are, and Sean, I'm not saying that you're wrong in your assessment. You may very well be right. But one thing is for certain this evening, this race for the president has been completely upended. I don't know if it will be Kamala Harris. She clearly is the front runner. She has, I think, for her, the next 36 to 72 hours are the most critical for her if she's able to keep others out of the race. She'll have a public statement where she will actually have to present. We all know that some of her presentations in public have not been the best. I think the country will be looking at her in ways, more eyeballs will be on her than ever before. So this next one or two presentations to the public will be absolutely critical. And to your point, Sean, when President Biden speaks in the next day or two and answers questions about the issues that you have aptly raised, we'll get a better sense of what it is or why it was that he decided at this moment. I think it's as simple as that he can't win, and the downward ballot pressure was so enormous and growing. And I think there were a lot of Democrats who were going to come out in the next day or so that it might have been even more embarrassing for the president. So I think they got out in front of it. But one thing is clear. It seems like the Trump campaign has been prepared for this. There might not be Joe Biden as a nominee. And we're going to have one heck of a fight between now and November. And I don't mean fight in a violent way, but a contest of ideas.
Cash is out, digital currency is in. Don't let Biden and the Fed control your money. Executive Order 14067 is here, and your cash is becoming digital and trackable. They want to see every penny. How about we don't let them? Let's fortify your wealth with something tangible, gold and silver. I urge you to call my friends at Priority Gold to find out how they can help you diversify your savings with physical gold. I'd also like to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Thousands of Americans just like you have placed their trust in Priority Gold. Text GOLD, G-O-L-D, to 800-405-GOLD for a free guide on how to shield your money with gold and silver. Learn 3 strategies to diversify and preserve your wealth. Plus, find out if you qualify for up to $5,000 in free silver. Imagine having control over your financial freedom. Text GOLD to 800-405-GOLD now and keep your future intact. Don't wait until it's too late. A well-placed Democratic Party source said that they heard the same thing, that Obama, former Nancy Pelosi, and New York Senator Chuck Schumer wanted to hold a mini primary, which Obama believed Harris would not win because, according to the source, Obama knows she's just incompetent, the border czar who never visited the border, saying that all migrants should have health insurance, and that Harris cannot navigate the landmines that are ahead of her. Maybe that's why top Democrats are working double time to at least make it seem like they're supporting this Kamala Harris campaign.
Actually, Sean and Harold, It actually happened when they started to worry about their own seats. You know, most of them were saying, please step aside, pass the baton, Mr. President Biden, because you're going to help us lose the House and the Senate as well as the White House. So it was very selfish. Their concern about Joe Biden was always electoral, not emotional. It was always political, not medical or even moral. And Kamala Harris led the chorus of liars every single day, pretending that Joe Biden is a trapeze artist or a triathlete behind the scenes. And then we all see what we see with our own two eyes. And that's just not true. Why did Kamala Harris or anybody else who's thinking of running for president or vice president, Sean, lack the courage, integrity, and love of country to just say, listen, I love this man. I want him to step aside and spend the rest of his years. Let's hope there are 20, 30 more years, Joe Biden, in Delaware with his family. If you don't like the style of Kamala Harris, if cackling Kamala bothers you, if you see her with the word salads, if you don't like her style, wait till America learns her substance. This is somebody who ran for president in 2020. She had such a big rollout. She was 15% of the polls. She had huge endorsements, raised a ton of money, and fell out of that top tier fairly quickly because people got to know her and hear her. She didn't get a single delegate. She had disastrous staff turnover as vice president. I check it on the daily. Her public schedule, gentlemen, rarely has anything on it or one or two things on it. She does not speak well. She does not work hard.
All right, so Kellyanne, let me ask you.
And she should not be the standard bearer for the party.
So just recently, almost at the same time as Obama, in fact, the top two Democrats in Congress announced that they're getting behind former Vice President Kamala Harris to succeed President Joe Biden in the election. So here's Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. See if you could catch what they're really saying between the lines here.
So now that the process is played out, from the grassroots bottom up, we are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, we all know that Vice President Harris has a tremendous record to run on. And now begins the next chapter in our quest to make sure Donald Trump does not become president.
President Joe Biden has made the selfless decision to pass the torch to Vice President Kamala Harris, who is ready, willing, and able to lead us into the future. Kamala Harris will fight for our freedom. Kamala Harris will fight for our families. Kamala Harris will fight for our future. I'm proud to strongly endorse Kamala Harris to be the 47th President of the United States of America. We're going to hold the Senate. We're going to win the House. We're going to elect Kamala Harris as our next president in November.
Okay, so let me quote two lines from these lawmakers for you guys. So first, Chuck Schumer said, now that the process is played out from the grassroots bottom up, we are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. Jeffries later praised Kamala Harris for winning support from Democrats from the grassroots up and not from the top down. So yeah, they're definitely bringing home the fact that Kamala Harris' campaign wasn't something that the higher ups, i.e. Obama, approved. Spicy stuff. But did regular everyday American Democrats really put Vice President Kamala Harris in that position? By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. Don't forget to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much, guys. Now, as for President Joe Biden, now that he's given this big FU to the powers that be, his next challenge is going to be holding on to that presidential seat for as long as he can, because the calls are getting louder for Biden to resign, even though Jill Biden would absolutely lose her mind. Now, the argument from Republicans and frankly some Democrats, if he isn't fit to seek re-election, he shouldn't lead the nation. After Biden stepped aside from the campaign, U.S. Representative Michael Waltz, a St. Augustine Republican, posted on X, if President Joe Biden isn't fit to run for re-election, he isn't fit to continue as commander-in-chief. He should resign, especially now that the country is in what Waltz described as of maximum danger with a wide open southern border and the world's on fire. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, Republican co-chair Senate Intelligence Committee suggested that if Democrats themselves believe Biden doesn't have the mental acuity to be their candidate, how can they allow him to continue to be our president? And of course, let's not forget about the report from special counsel Ben-Hur saying he was unfit to stand trial for crimes he allegedly committed. Then how on earth is he fit for any job, much less the job for the United States president, right? Now, many are calling it absolute BS that he's still in the White House. Everybody saw the debate, right? He even read some articles describing Biden's performance as physically and cognitively inept. His answers to simple questions were nonsensical. Even Nancy Pelosi wondered aloud, is this an episode or is this a condition? Not to mention, under the Biden administration, under his appointed Secret Service Director, Kimberly Cheadle, an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump was almost successful, if not for a miraculously timed turn of the head from Trump. Some say it was God laying his hand on Donald Trump's head and making him move ever so slightly. What do you guys think it was? Now, I've even heard about the over 250,000 bikers in America making plans to follow Donald Trump's rallies to protect the former president. This is all happening under Joe Biden's watch. I mean, sure, Democrats could force Joe Biden out under the 25th Amendment, but they probably won't do it. So, should the American people take things into our own hands? Maybe impeach both Biden and Harris? What do y'all make of that? We definitely got the latest update for you guys today right here, so don't go away. We're going to go ahead and dive right in. But first, there's word going around that Joe Biden's swift endorsement of Kamala Harris was basically the president's big middle finger to some of the Democratic Party leaders, including Barack Obama, who supposedly wanted him out of this race. Now, apparently, according to Biden sources, Obama was pushing for a showdown at the Democratic National Convention next month to pick someone new instead of Biden. And so, when Biden announced that he's stepping aside in defense of democracy, it really seemed like his own dramatic mic drop. He didn't waste a minute before backing Harris, which has everybody whispering that it was his way of sticking it to the big names. If I'm out, then I'm endorsing her. And oh, the drama doesn't end there, guys. In fact, some Democratic leaders are hinting that Obama, along with Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, hoped for a mini primary at the convention, betting that Harris would not make the cut. Their favorite? Mark Kelly, the senator and ex-astronaut. So in other words, top Democrats don't even want Kamala Harris. In fact, we actually may see another coup. But this did not stop President Joe Biden from making his own plans. In fact, the president officially resigned from the 2024 presidential campaign in a statement posted on X, and almost immediately followed up with a social media endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. Now, according to the Democratic Party, this move was Biden's ultimate revenge against Obama and Nancy Pelosi for nudging him off the stage, that Biden's endorsement of Kamala Harris was Joe truly knifing Obama and Nancy Pelosi in the back, making him stand down. And guess what, guys? Biden, he isn't just to the background. In fact, he's planning to dive deep into Kamala Harris's campaign and taking an active role in Harris's campaign. According to a Washington insider, it allows Biden to retain experienced hand at national politics, which will be good for her. It means her campaign won't be run by a bunch of insular advisors. Definitely something to keep an eye on in our future updates, guys. But don't go away, because we're not done with this one, guys. In fact, there's still the matter of Jeffries and Chuck Schumer endorsing Kamala Harris, but subtly saying how it wasn't something that they were planning. And of course, the call for President Joe Biden to resign from the presidency is getting louder and louder in Congress. You got to stay tuned for that one, guys. But first, just a quick reminder, if you guys are liking the content, don't forget to show this video some love, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and for those who are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. It really does help us out. All right, so you know that bad blood between Obama and Biden is not new, right? In fact, there have long been simmering tensions between the two, which dates all the way back to like 2018, when Obama persuaded Joe Biden, a decision that Biden openly griped about later, saying on the New York Times that he was not encouraging. According to a source very close to Biden's family, prominent Democrats threatened to invoke the 20th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and to urge Vice President and the cabinet to remove Biden from the office. They even said that the belief within the family is that Obama wanted to get Biden out of the race, and an article written by George Clooney in the New York Times asked step aside as a part of the plan. Now, of course, we heard from that phone call that Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama already officially endorsed Harris. The official company line from NBC, former President Obama waited because he did not want to overshadow Joe Biden's televised address to Americans about his stepping down from the race. But I think we know better, guys, because according to the Biden insider source, Obama knows she's just incompetent. The border czar who never visited the border, saying that all migrants should have health insurance, and that she cannot navigate the landmines that are ahead of her. That's exactly what the top two Democrats in Congress may have been hinting in their official endorsement of Kamala Harris as their presidential nominee. As Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer put it, now that the process is played out from the grassroots bottom up, they are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. You heard that, guys? The process played out from the grassroots bottom up. Same with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. He praised Harris for winning support from Democrats from the grassroots up, not from the top down. They're definitely saying something here, right, guys? I mean, it looks like somebody from the top didn't exactly like how things played out with Kamala Harris. What do you guys think? In fact, some Republicans have even accused Democrats of staging a coup against Biden in an effort to coronate Harris because they were afraid the president would lose to former President Donald Trump in November. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden himself is in danger of not finishing his term as president, because if he isn't fit to seek re-election, Florida congressional leaders say he shouldn't lead the nation. U.S. Senator Rick Scott, a Naples Republican for re-election this year, said that it was painfully clear that Joe Biden wasn't competent for office going way back to 2021. In fact, he said that Democrats laughed when he said Biden should be removed from office after his deadly Afghanistan withdrawal disaster. They're not laughing now. The good senator added that over these 4 years, we have seen immense damage done to our country. I mean, even Nancy Pelosi has questioned Joe Biden, saying, is this an episode or is this a condition? I mean, it's pretty logical to argue President Joe Biden can't fulfill his duties with the sincerity and the care he promised when taking office. It's essential for the integrity of the presidency that he step down or face impeachment. The concern here is that he might be using his presidential power for his own benefit, which would shortchange Americans of a president who genuinely looks out for their rights and freedoms. There's also a more dramatic, though highly unlikely option on the table, the 25th Amendment. Now, this amendment, which was brought up but not used against President Donald Trump a few years ago, it allows for the removal of a president who's unable to do the job, whether due to health reasons or other incapacities. Now, it's a pretty tough route that involves the vice president, a majority of the cabinet, and Congress all agreeing that the president can't carry out his duties. Maybe this is why Biden was quick to endorse Kamala Harris, so that she would not have the heart to execute the 25th Amendment. I mean, President Biden has even joked that only the Lord Almighty could keep him from running again, which just shows how remote a possibility this really is. But what do y'all think? Do you see their moves and their counter moves play out in real time like I do? Drop your comments down below, guys. Let's make this a conversation, because we're definitely going to circle back on this one in the future. Just make sure you guys are always subscribed, have that notification bell turned on, all right? Actually, I got another video out for you guys that you definitely want to check out. It's comedian commentator Jon Stewart exposing Joe Biden in all of his stumbles and mental gaps. Democrats definitely did not like that one, but who knows? It may have played a part in Joe Biden's decision to withdraw from the race. Definitely a must watch, guys. So check that one out after this one. As always, thanks for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.